Look at me. California, man.
Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Yeah. First, I have to choose the best time of the day where I feel full with an emotion. When I'm full with that emotion, then that's time to like let it all out and put it onto something and let it grow into something. If I make music like just to like make music to like check it off my list, then like it doesn't really function all the way. So instead, I know it's really small, but it has a tiny bit more of a pause. So that the sound gets to fade out and come back in. Instead of just following after like it does there, there'll be a tiny space and you'll hear it. It's tiny. As like a listener, you wouldn't understand. Like you wouldn't hear it ever. But mechanically, like I'm saying, it makes more sense to just that baby space. For EP number 1. On the internet you can find that EP. And that entire EP took about 2 years to make. The whole process was sort of about finding a way to tell the story that connects a point of tragedy to new discoveries that make those tragedies make sense in our life. So that when something bad happens to us, or we do something bad, that we understand what purpose that serves in the timeline of our life. And so it took me a while to do, because not only was it complicated to get all the studio equipment that I needed and just the time to do it and the ideas, but also to live those things in my life to be able to give proper perspective. In the beginning, I don't even think that I understood that I was going to be doing that quite yet. I think I was just sort of writing to vent out emotions, but it wasn't really about... I didn't actually have a conclusion for it yet. But yeah, EP number 1 was mostly about a relationship that I had with somebody and how it ended and why it ended. And through that album, it's a recurring theme that drug abuse and like overall sadness really affects the way that you look at the world and the way that you act in your relationships. And that was a very active theme, was making sure that I wasn't such like a dipshit. Like I just want to make a better song. Better than like all of this EP put together. I want to make a song that's better. Like, I want to make a song like Sky High, but that sounds something that would be on Hovercraft music. So, the second EP was an EP titled 22 Minutes into the 22nd Century, which for me was about taking a look at my decisions and how they're going to affect the future. So being that we're in the 21st century now, seeing how things would be in a whole different millennium if I were to keep on going the way that I'm going. And that was a really sweet, like simple EP that was purely instrumentals, mostly so that I could just collect thoughts in this empty space that I was in, that I find myself in, which is that time where it's after midnight until like the sun rises, because no one's out. You're mostly by yourself. Like there's not that many people that want to hang out still at that time. It's just, it's you're by yourself. You have all this time to think. And it was about that until like you wander enough in the darkness until you find somewhere light where you can sit. And then how your thoughts change once you find that light spot, or once the sun comes up, how your thoughts change and how you've completed thoughts and have come to different conclusions. You would It's supposed to be done though, the whole thing. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I like 20 minutes from one single project. Like, almost all of them are 20 minutes. 22 minutes, 20 minutes and 1 second, like, you know? Somewhere in there. I don't know why. But it feels like it doesn't have the right flow yet. You know? But it kind of also does, but it also kind of doesn't. I don't know.
But I know me, only in terms
Almost
of
done.
See, when I think of anything that I know and that I like, then it's always something in you that's other than me.
Then it came to the third EP. And the third EP was, I think, the point where I found all of those light-filled moments. And so that whole EP was recollecting about, yeah, good things or about good thoughts that came out of the bad thoughts. And the effect that that has over, like, the first and the second EP, I think, to me, is powerful in my own process of making music. To me, it felt very comforting. To me, it felt very powerful to come to these conclusions and be able to make music that embody those realizations in that light. And so I think when I made the third one, Zero Dark 30 sort of came together to me as like an actual like musical statement. You know, it made sense to call it Zero Dark 30. It made sense to really fulfill that agenda of turning over a new leaf, of going through different transition processes to grow and to go through like metamorphosis internally. And so that's what music does. It gives you this internal effect, you know, from the external stimuli. It gets into your insides and it really starts to rewire and push different buttons that give you different perspective. And that EP really accomplished that because the first two had very dark tones, and my whole life did. You know, my clothes did, my appearance did, my demeanor did, the situations did. But after deliberate analyzation and just reflection and the willful changing of habits, then yeah, the music changed, and it changed my internal condition. And so I'm glad that I think that my music will serve that purpose for other people. Even my teeth.